It's Friday, it's got to be your MCN. Now with 50% more chonky boys, chonky woody boys. Isn't he lovely? And here is his younger brother that is meant to glow in the dark. I just tried it. It did not work. It didn't work at all. Right, so let's kick things off with Act 8.4. As a lot of you know, we covered the information on Wednesday. Very busy day on Wednesday. But look, information is really important. There was a bit of a typo, which we did talk about. That it says 5 or 6 star champions for another in their roster, and kind of like, yeah, as little Mad Dog put, like, just wanted to clarify that this is intentional to not be able to swap out 7 stars. Yeah, I thought it was very weird. Kabam Mike did confirm. I'm 90% sure this was a copy and paste error from an earlier post. We use it to templatize most of these posts. To be honest, fair play. I do stuff like that as well to save myself time. But I want to check with our designer tomorrow before I give a definitive answer. So we're still yet to find out about that. Hopefully we do find out about that, because that would be weird if it was a case like we're not allowed to use 7 stars, but it does look like it's kind of like a copy paste. But also, quick question from that's really important at the moment and relevant. If I get Valiant from Act 8.4 rewards, will I be able to get the Valiant objectives in Winter of Woe? Of course, that's going to be like a key thing. I don't know if you're able to get the solo event. I'd say give it a try. If you can 100% Act 8.4 and it gets you to be Valiant, then you'll get an idea. If you're not, then it won't pop up. You know, simple as that. As like, it could be a case. If you're able to become Valiant as a result of the Act 8.4 rewards, and you're like, okay, I'll check solo events, and you're like, well, it's either there that you can either get the objectives and get more points to earn more to then get it, quite possibly. You know, that's something we need to find out. But at least Kabam Mike does give the impression that I believe they should become available to you if you become Valiant during the event's duration. So that could be very promising. It might mean you have to rerun the gauntlet again in order to do those. So maybe kind of like hold off on doing the gauntlet until after you've 100%ed 8.4. Do 8.4, 100% it. Become Valiant if you can do by those means, then go boom, like open up your rewards, get your thing, and go, oh, yes or no. But at least it gives you an idea that some of the objectives, the means to get it, will become available. So yes, there's a good indication that you could get some extra spicy stuff. We now go into Legends. Oh, Legends. Do you remember the Legends badge? I've picked up a Legends badge a long time ago. I had it back, I think I used Captain Marvel Classic. That is weird. Captain Marvel Classic, and I may have used 5-star Corvus Glaive. That's a long time ago as well when I did my Legends challenge. But the Time Attack Legends event quest is coming to an end, as you can see on screen. This is very surprising, but I suppose after, well, 8 years ago when I got the Legends badge, things have really changed. And it will come to the end at the end starting in May. So it probably means you can do, as it says there, that means the April's event quest, Change the Record, will be your last chance to take on this historic challenge. The top 100 champions who 100% explore both Proven and Conqueror difficulty levels of the event quest between April 3rd and April 17th will earn a Tier 4 class Catalyst Crystal. And more importantly, the Legends, title of Legends. For those who are fast enough, you'll know your status in the Battle Realm. Now, I don't know what there's going to be replacing this. Kabam going to offer a new title system that's going to be replacing it. Is going to be like another option. Now, that's going to be a very kind of like interesting time. I don't think they'll give out the Mythic badge as freely. I think it's still treated as a rare title. Unless they're going to replace the Mythic badge with something more kind of rarer. And the Legends badge is going to be repurposed in a certain way. That would be really interesting. We'll have to see in the future of that. But it is sad to say goodbye to this. But of course, things move on. And also, if it's too easy or people aren't participating in it as much, then that could be another issue. Maybe Kabam want to change what they offer, and that would be really exciting as well. Rank down tickets. Is this something you want to see in game? I thought it was interesting to bring up as a topic and see some Kabam responses, because Of course, it's always very interesting to see what Kabam have to say about these particular things. So a recent poll that was on the forums, I linked it in the description. 144 people voted for it or interacted with it. Look, by the way, this isn't ever guaranteed it's going to come into game, but it's always interesting to know, you know, what people are interested in. Do we want to see more rank down tickets, or rank down tickets, full stop? Got 20% say yes, 28% say yes, but in caps. So that's kind of giving a well, that's 70 of the, that's half. That's just yeah, that's just under half. Meh, no, I'm building sticks, and that would be nice. So I guess it's kind of given a little bit to the they want them. But are we going to get them? Interesting, because you know, this predates like Kabam Jax, but I thought it was interesting to mention because Kabam Mike said, I don't see the point in rank down tickets when instead you could focus on getting more rank up materials. You can keep the champ ranked up and then rank up more champions. Isn't that better than rank down tickets? Sometimes it's nice to have a choice of what to rank up, and I suppose in some ways rank down. And that's the problem as well, like getting new resources is always pretty tough, but I suppose having the scope of a roster, and this is the one thing that I've talked about for a long time since playing the game, is taking your roster sideways. Okay, Mole Man wasn't or isn't as he used to be, but that means that if you take away that, then you take away an option for the likes of Winter of Woe or upcoming challenges. And that's another key thing, having options for champions going, okay, well, I had the champion, he's not as potent, but he's a rank, or her, or he is a rank 4. I can use that one because it's really powerful to take on a particular content. Things come up from time to time where champion's purpose is there for you. You know, Ronan, for example, isn't an option that is the quintessential go-to option, but then there's the Winter of Woes, as well, showcases, and times where that champion pops up with its utility and its formidable nature in kind of doing stuff. So look, it's always a tough one, isn't it? But as I said, I think everyone should have, rather than going for the new hot thing, is having a broad spectrum of champions being ranked up for different usages and stuff like that. Also, you never know when a champion's going to be buffed. But in any case, that has been that. Let's move on to an interesting bit of coverage. Kabam Crash talks about Deathless Champions. I thought this was quite interesting and quite apt because, you know, Deathless Champions, Deathless King Groot has just gone live. I've probably got another video talking about that very, very soon, which is going to be really quite spicy. But I thought it'd be interesting to find out, with the extent of engagement on particular content like Alliance will showcase, where you kind of feel forced to get that content done if you want a Deathless King Groot. If you don't want it, then of course a lot of people didn't do it, but you know, for me, I needed to get involved with it. So Kabam Crash says on the subject of Deathless Champions, they were born last year out of the desire to make 7-star champion acquisition more novel, interesting and exciting than past rarities. At that time, many people, both internally and externally, were concerned about the rate of which we were chewing through our 7-star runway, and we decided to use Deathless Champions for a secondary goal of creating new resources that players could value. That champion requires multiple pieces sourced across the game. Honestly, this worked even better than I thought it would. It is clear that players ascribe substantial value to these pieces. No, it's just a case of, well, do I not want a 7-star? Everyone wants a 7-star. Like, you can't just say, oh, here's a chase resource. You don't. But we're gonna dangle the carrot, and we don't want you to bite it. We want you to look at it, but we don't want you to bite it. Of course, we're all gonna go for it, or at least try to go for it. You know, with this. The decision makes a complete or pass on any piece of content depending on the balance of intrinsic enjoyment. We're not allowed to enjoy things in MCOC. And intrinsic rewards, motivation versus cost, time, effort. Time's not a resource, can't be valued. Effort, energy, consumables, units. Yeah. If motivation is greater than cost, they do the content. again, it's not about motivation. It's like, again, you dangle the carrot, and it's like sometimes people aren't motivated to get stuff. It's a case of like, I like King Groot as a champion. Oh, there's a Deathless King Groot. I don't want that. Of course I'm going to go for it. If cost is greater than motivation, they do not. Accurate engagement is how many players do a piece of content given the rewards. If the showcase rewards were as good as Necropolis rewards, probably 10 times as many people would have done it. It would have taken less time to do what was 100% Necropolis, or do it. Necropolis is very different, and I don't know if it's always relevant to bring that as an argument piece in, because it's a very different stage to what was when that content was released and put into game as to what we've got now. I'll explain more about that in a minute, what I mean. Had there been no rewards, probably 1/10 of many players would have done it. We understand the Deathless pieces carried a lot of that motivation equation for the first showcase. So, a bit of a few weird things in this by Crashed, especially mentioning about Necropolis. Now, I did have a Deathless guillotine piece in. I really don't hope Kabam add in a Deathless piece into Battlegrounds season again. I just can't be bottlenecked in vibranium and feeling for the amount of hours I've invested into it. I'm just not getting nowhere and treading water. And yeah. Anyway, to bring the Necropolis argument into it is always very weird. It's weird because if you turn the time back to November, December, and even January, December and November of 2023 and January of 2024 this year, what was the only way for a free-to-play player to get a Valiant? That's right, 100%ing Necropolis. So you had to do that. If you wanted to be Valiant, you had to do it. You couldn't just say, oh, I'll do a bit of it and I'll have all the resources. No, you had to do it. And that's the issue, isn't it? Kabam would probably say, we give you the rewards in there that are kind of like quite spicy, so you can actually go for them, and it's a tough one when free to play are ultimately catching up. People are spending game. That first month of Valiant dailies, I mean, you know as much as I do from watching the videos that I've put out, Valiant dailies are some of the spiciest crystals in game that are free. So imagine if you can get 2 of those on a daily basis, which you can, and that massively helps out free to play. It's massively helped me out. It's massively helped out a lot of people. So it's crazy, but I do find this a bit difficult at times to get that you have to do type narrative with MCOC, because it is like that. And Command may say it's not. You don't have to do everything. What you lose out from the effort you put in, sometimes it can definitely feel like quite defeatist, but then at other times it's like, well, what kind of impact has this got elsewhere? Like, because I've now missed out on the runestones for Nightcrawler, does that mean that I've got a less than power? I got a champion I would have quite happily put in defense in Battlegrounds? Is it a champion that would have been good to go into defense in Alliance Wars? There's a lot of things like, what's the knock-on effects from that one? And you don't really know that, right there and then. The same thing with Deathless King Groot. If you've missed out on that particular piece, then Kabam probably wouldn't see it as being like it's damaging to a particular player, but it may be in the grand scheme of things to go, well, it's going to cost them a lot more, which means that they won't have enough units for this because they're using the units to prop up the pieces to get it down the line. Is the Thanos that links all the synergies and champions together, maybe as a pre-fight that's going to be super spicy, missing out on that? Is that going to be detrimental to the player? These are things that we don't know now, but we'll know later down the line. Like, being a Valiant in December was really good, and then it's like we're just entering our 4th month into January, into 2024, and this is where we're kind of seeing the kind of divide and impact from rewards. Different progression rewards are kind of going apart. Deals are going apart as well. So we're really seeing the knock-on effects, and this is something that Kabam needs to understand. And I guess how they look at it is going, okay, well, what we're doing is we're giving the rewards now to people in stuff like Act 8.4, so you can start catching up. But it's like, I'd say I would kind of refer to it as a 6 month like booster. Like people that have been Valiant for a while have had a 6 month booster. People who have better rewards have had a 6 month booster. But I don't know, each to their own with how they look at this particular process. I get what Kabam are trying to say. It's just a case of like at times there's other stuff going on that I don't think they probably understand with stuff. But it's difficult. It's difficult process. But in any case, at any rate, the motivation versus cost balance is what I mean when I say improving the value proposition. With the changes we are making, I'm pretty confident more players will think it's worth it at least to do a completion run next time this content comes around. I mean, yeah, absolutely. It's just going to be a case of, do people have the resource, the champions, in order to take it down? And that, or it's going to cost them a lot, which again is like how you damage sentiment within the community is another kind of key aspect. But we'll leave it on that particular point, and I'll ask the question to the comments. How do you feel about how Deathless Champions have been pitched to their acquisition to you? Do you feel it quite grindy? Do you not like it? Do you think it's okay? Do you feel forced to do it? Or feel like you have to do it? And are they worth the time and effort? But thoughts with you guys. Thanks very much for watching. That's been the show. Check out some other content located on screen, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye for now.